In the theatre room, you've had a sort of immersive experience as to what Laguna Phuket's about and its history and the benefits of owning a property with Laguna. So now I'll go through a series of slides to give you some more detailed information about our group, about Phuket and how it's evolved and emerged into really a global international destination. And then a snapshot of the Phuket real estate market, and then followed by, I guess, some highlights of our current portfolio and some of the trends as to why people are buying property and why Phuket has really boomed, particularly post-COVID over the last few years. So just to put into perspective the Banyan Group, so on the hotel side, which most of you are probably very familiar with, we have, by the end of this year, we'll have 100 resorts around the world. So we've got a very strong global footprint. Whilst we started in Asia, and we've got a very strong presence throughout Asia, Thailand specifically, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, we are also rapidly expanding to other parts of the world, such as the Americas and the Middle East and Europe. So we're growing very rapidly now. As I mentioned earlier, it all started here 37 years ago in 1987 with the opening of the Dusit Resort. We're listed on the stock exchange in Thailand through the SET, so Laguna Resorts and Hotels, and then the major shareholder is Banyan Tree Holdings, which is listed on the stock exchange in Singapore. And as I said, we've got a global footprint in 20 countries, and that's growing. But what I really wanted to talk about today, so whilst we're very known for operating resorts and spas and galleries, I wanted to talk about our residences and our real estate business, because I don't think, in certain markets and perhaps in Bangkok, the Thai audience understands about the hotel and the hospitality side, but maybe doesn't understand the size and scale of our real estate business. So we'll show you some key data points on that, just to put into perspective and context about how big we are and how significant we are as a real estate developer. So first of all, you all know about Banyan Tree and branded residences. So I wanted to highlight a couple of key points here. So in terms of global rankings in the branded residences space, you can see here Banyan Group is number 4 in the world, right? So as an independent hospitality brand from Asia, when you look at our ranking on a global scale, we're behind the big players such as the Marriotts and the Accors and the Four Seasons. So we really are up there, even though we're a much smaller player. These companies are much, much larger than us. And as you can see there, we even outrank a number of these other well-known international brands. So we're the number 1 Asian brand, and I think the only Asian brand in the top 10 of branded residences. Now, the other interesting point here is when you look at the top markets for branded residences, on the right-hand side you'll see there. So Dubai obviously is number 1, and it's very well known, and it's got lots of branded residences coming up there. And then you've got the more established markets such as in the US and in New York and Miami in Florida. But interestingly, Phuket is also number 4 in the world. You compare that to Bangkok, which also has branded residences. There's Banyan Tree Riverside, there's the Ritz-Carlton and St. Regis and so forth. Bangkok is also in the top 15, but Phuket outranks it. And I think this really speaks to how Phuket has really come of age in the last few years. The other interesting point is the more established markets such as New York and Florida, Hawaii, they're not growing as fast as the emerging markets. And Asia and the Middle East are the 2 markets that are really expanding and where we see the most growth. And when you look at the top, all these top destinations here, about 2/3 of the the destinations here are in the resort destinations and in the emerging markets. So I think that's also very telling, so for Phuket and also for Bangkok. So just to put into perspective the size of our real estate business, 4,000 completed units. Now, a lot of those are here in Laguna Phuket, almost 3,000 here, about 2,700. But we also have 9,000 units in the pipeline. So where are all these units? So you can see within Thailand, there's 6,000. We have in Phuket, in Bangkok, coming up in Pattaya with one of the new projects, Sky Park, and in Khao Yai, Banyan Tree Residences, Creston Hill. Throughout the rest of Asia, also a very good spread. So through South Korea, Japan, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, coming up in the Philippines and Indonesia. But this is an interesting one. So this is where we're spreading to the rest of the world. So in the UAE, we will be having some branded residences coming up there. We also presently have in Mexico, but also expanding to other parts, particularly Europe now. So we've got some projects coming up in Spain and in Greece. In terms of the branding, as you saw, we've got a number of brands now, so it's not just Banyan Tree. We've got about 10 brands in our portfolio. So Banyan Tree sort of features, and this is in terms of units, quite significantly, because this was our original brand and our luxury brand, but also we have a good spread through some of our newer brands that have been evolved and released over the last few years. In terms of our owner profiles and the demographic of those owners, so maybe the key takeaway there is because we're an Asian brand and we have most of our sort of operations and resorts in Asia, about 60% of our owners are from Asia. So you can see here Thailand is also a key market, China, Singapore, Hong Kong and Malaysia. About 35% from Europe, so the top markets there would be Russia, UK and Switzerland, and in the rest of the world about 5%. But this is a growing figure also, and as we've seen this year in particular and last year, the Chinese market has been quite soft because of the problems they've had there with their property sector, their economy, and so they haven't had an appetite to spend much on real estate, and so we've seen a growth in this, particularly this year, where we've had about sort of 40+% from the rest of the world. So these are cumulative historical figures since we've started doing real estate. So our top 5 markets you can see here: Russia, Thailand, Hong Kong, China and Singapore. So very much focused on Asia, but Russia would be the biggest European market. So we have almost 4,000 owners. So we also have a lot of owners that are repeat buyers. So once they buy a property with us, about 20% of our owners would buy, or 20% of our sales, they would buy more than one unit, a second unit. We have nationalities or owners from over 80 countries worldwide and 70 different nationalities. As we showed earlier, we showed we have a program for our owners as opposed to frequent hotel guests called the Sanctuary Club. So the key benefits of the Sanctuary Club are discounts on a worldwide basis through all of our service offerings. So if I own a property here in Phuket or in Bangkok and I want to go and travel to some of our resorts on a worldwide basis, I get a discount on the resort accommodation. I get a discount on the food and beverage. I get a discount on spa. And that's on a worldwide basis, so that's very important. We also have a multilingual owner services team. So we have our owner services team, because we have to cater to many different owners from different countries. We have English speaking, Thai speaking, Chinese speaking, Russian speaking and so forth. So that's also very important to be able to cater to many different owners. We also explained that we have an after sales service team. So our relationship doesn't end when we sell you the property. It continues after we sell you the property to look after you and to help you. So we offer a range of services. So if you need to maintain your property, we can do that for you with the various property management services. If you want to rent out your property, we can also do that for you. So that's very important in terms of helping preserve the value of your asset and the maintenance of your asset. Another key component of the Sanctuary Club program is for those owners that have a property that's managed as part of a hotel, they can participate in what we call our exchange program. So typically when an owner owns a property that's managed as part of a hotel, such as in Banyan Tree Phuket or Banyan Tree Bangkok, they would receive annual complimentary owner's use of up to, say, 60 days. So what they do is they set into the exchange pool 15 days of their complimentary owner's entitlement each year, which means then they can use those 15 days to go and stay in other participating properties around the world, so they don't have to come and visit their own property and stay in their own property all the time. It gives them an opportunity to go and stay in other properties without paying anything for the accommodation. Obviously, when they buy their food and have a spa, they use their Sanctuary Club membership to get their discount, but they can get free accommodation in other properties around the world by exchanging their complimentary days with other owners. And of course, as we highlighted earlier in Laguna Phuket, we've got a great range of amenities, the beach, the golf course, BDMS Wellness Clinic, for those people that live here on a full-time basis, the Silk International Kindergarten, and then lots of parklands and walking tracks and so forth. So that's also very important. And another unique aspect of anybody that buys a property from us, depending on the value of the property, they also get a golf membership attached to the property, which is also a great benefit. So as a property owner, I get a golf membership, then I can go and play on the golf course, and I don't have to pay the green fee to play on the golf course. I just have to pay my caddy after I've played. So that's another great benefit of living here in Laguna Phuket. So again, just to summarise, the discounts that owners receive on a global basis throughout the Banyan Group network of hotels and resorts worldwide. So now I'll just talk about Phuket and just give you some sort of key context about Phuket. So if we're looking at in 2023, the most visited cities worldwide, actually you see at number 1 was Bangkok, the most visited city worldwide. Number 14, so you can see the appeal of Thailand directly from this. The interesting thing, Phuket as number 14, it's the second most popular beach resort destination in the world. So it outranks Bali and Mallorca. The only one that is more is Antalya in Turkey, which is obviously very close to Russia, so there's a lot of Russians and European visitors to Antalya. But Phuket is not far behind, and it continues to grow. The rate of tourists to Phuket has been, I think, taking out the COVID period, has been about 10% annual growth rate per annum. So why do people come to Phuket? Obviously it's famous for its beaches. It's also, particularly for foreigners, it's also very popular for shopping. So I've lived in Phuket for more than 20 years, and when I first came there wasn't much. A little Tesco Lotus in Phuket town and that was it. But now you have Central that are here, so the big Central department store mall in Phuket town. There's also a Central complex just out the front of Laguna. Robinsons are also very nearby and so forth. So The shopping environment has really expanded, particularly in the last 10 years. Entertainment. So there's lots of cultural shows and performances, but also Blue Tree Water Park, which is a big water park which is very close by to Laguna as well. So all of these great amenities have been evolving over the last 10 years or so, which has really sort of lifted Phuket in terms of its standing of having a great sort of series of world-class amenities. We have year-round events. Laguna Phuket, we have the triathlon, which has been running for more than 20 years, and we get a lot of people participate in that. That is at the end of November. We have the marathon, which we just held earlier this month, and that's been going for over 10 years, and we get several thousand participants in that also. We have culture such as Lloyd, and we also have lots of events. So I think was Body Slam, Tune here in Laguna. A great ambassador for us. We also do other type of music events such as Siam Sinfonetta, which is Kun Som Tao, a famous conductor. We do events of that nature also here. Golf is popular in Phuket, so there are a number of golf courses. Obviously we have a golf course right here, so it's very staying in the hotels. You live here, it's very convenient to get to. You don't have to get in the car and drive a long way. Boating is also becoming very popular because of Phang Nga Bay. Lots of people like to take a boat trip around Phang Nga Bay and go to the islands and the Sea Gypsy villages and places like that. So boating has also emerged as a very popular pastime here. And of course, wellness and medical. So medical tourism is big in both Bangkok and Phuket, particularly for foreigners, but the wellness industry is also expanding very rapidly, and Phuket is looking to establish itself as one of the top wellness destinations in Asia, and the government is supporting this as well. So we have just recently opened the BDMS Wellness Clinic here to in order to facilitate and participate in this. And of course there's international hospitals here, and BDMS being one of the largest hospital in the groups in the world, that's why we've partnered and collaborated with them. And of course then there's wellness in terms of spa and massage. So Banyan Tree Spa is world famous also. So that's an overview of Phuket. So what about Laguna Phuket? So I've explained, and you've seen in there about Laguna Phuket. So maybe I'll just point out a couple of things. So Laguna Phuket's situated on Bang Tao Bay, which is 5 kilometres across, and we occupy about 3 kilometres of that, so 60%. But we also extend further inland. So as we showed you earlier, this is our Lakelands project here. So Laguna Phuket is, it's not just a resort complex these days, it's like a community and a destination. So it has resorts and it has residential component as well. And that's why the resort complex I would call Laguna 1.0, because this originally started out with the resorts and then we added the residential around various pieces. Lakelands is Laguna 2.0. So this is a purpose-built, master-planned community. Some interesting things about Laguna Phuket, so some key facts and figures. So 10 million people come to Phuket every year. In Laguna Phuket, we capture 10%, 1 million people per year. We have 1,500 hotel rooms, 3,000 residences, as I explained earlier, 70 plus nationalities. And one of the great advantages and benefits of Laguna Phuket, it's integrated. So that means you can hop on a shuttle bus or hop on a ferry and you can go to different parts of the complex, and that's all complimentary. If you're staying in the hotels, such as if you're staying at Banyan Tree, you can go and dine in other restaurants in other hotels you can sign and charge back to your room, so you don't have to go to the other hotel and then settle your bill and pay there. Because it's integrated, you can sign and say, I'm staying at Banyan Tree in this room, and you just sign your bill, and then they will capture that on your bill when you check out of Banyan Tree. So what are some of the key factors and trends for people buying? And I won't go through all of these, I'll just maybe highlight a few of these. So number one is accessibility, and what I mean by that is how easy is it to get to Phuket? Phuket International Airport has flights from 70 international cities. So if I compare that to Bangkok, Suvarnabhumi has about 130, but Suvarnabhumi is a big hub, regional hub for airport, just like Singapore. So Phuket, tiny little airport, also has international connections to 70 cities from Europe, the Middle East, from the Pacific, and so forth. So very good connectivity, because you don't have to go via Bangkok or Singapore, you can fly direct. So that is a key advantage, right? And that's a key driver also for people when they're looking to buy a property. They don't want to spend a lot of time traveling. I think the next one I'll point out is urban flight. So as we all experienced during COVID, in big population centres like Bangkok, there was lockdowns, and also people were concerned about being close together in a densely populated centre. And so what we saw during COVID was a lot of people wanted a safe haven to escape to, where they could be in a less densely populated area in a non-urban environment. And so that also has been a key factor. Lots of people like to have a second home now, even though they have to maybe do business and work from a big urban destination, have a second home in Phuket. Which also then links to this one about remote working. So as we saw during COVID, the Zoom and things like this. So this is also a great sort of benefit now, because rather than having to go to, get on a plane, go back to do business meetings, if I have my second home here, I can do via Zoom. So even our chairman, who lives here in Phuket, he previously used to travel maybe 40 plus weeks of the year, having to go and do meetings everywhere all around the world. Now it's very convenient for him because he can do a lot of those meetings over Zoom. And I think the last one is lifestyle and well-being. I think particularly post-COVID, many people now are evaluating their lifestyle. They want to spend, have a better work-life balance, spend more time with their family, spend time in the outdoors and things like that. So I think that's another key factor that's been driving the real estate market here in Phuket. So just to give you a quick snapshot of the Phuket real estate market. So we've divided the Phuket Island into these, I guess, locations. So the most popular location is along the west coast of Phuket, which faces the Andaman Sea. The east coast is facing Phang Nga, but it doesn't have the nice beaches as the west coast. So the east coast has a lot of tidal, mud, mangrove, and so forth. So most people buy on the west coast. And the most popular destination for resort residences and branded residences is right here, Bang Tao Beach, which is where we're located on the west coast. And the evidence of that also is we're seeing many of the big Thai developers and international developers now coming and buying land around Laguna Phuket and promoting. You'll see whether it's Sansiri, AssetWise, Origin, they're all in this West Coast Bang Tao area, and that's one of the things they're promoting, is this is the happening and the most exclusive place to be. So post-COVID, we've seen a surge in demand. So even if we compare our sales compared to pre-COVID, now we're at 4 times what it was pre-COVID. So Phuket has seen a very big surge in demand, and this is driven by the land prices going up, because we've got lots of developers coming in and buying up land and pushing the prices up. But on a longer term basis also, prices have gone up for house and land. So just for example, if I took a villa, a 4-bedroom villa here in Laguna, Phuket, in the last 15 years, compared to what the price was 15 years ago to now, it's about 150% higher. So in simple sort of straight line terms, 150% over 15 years is a growth of 10% per annum. The market, because of the high cost of land and the scarcity of land, is still very much focused on condominiums and less on villas, because obviously villas consume a lot more land and the underlying price of the land is high. So for most developers, they have to focus on doing condominiums. But what we have seen, particularly in the last 2 years, is the luxury segment re-emerging. So 50% of our sales are now in the luxury segment. And that's why, as I'll show you later on, why we have so many, you'll see so many Banyan Tree products, Banyan Tree residences that we've launched in the last 12 months, because that's where we're really seeing the demand. And there really isn't any competition at this stage, because a lot of the developers that are coming in, such as those from Bangkok, the big Bangkok developers, they're doing condominiums. And so they're not at what we would call and define really at the luxury segment, right? The luxury segment we would define as higher than 60 million baht, okay? Most of the condominiums that are being done here, even by the well-known Bangkok developers, would be less than 20 million baht. So this is an area which we really have a competitive advantage, because there's not much competition in that space at the moment. So just to recap a little bit about Lakelands, which we showed you the video earlier. So some of the key highlights of this. So there'll be 5 distinct residential zones, as you can see on there. But very importantly, as part of our ethos at Banyan Tree, which is sustainability and preserving the environment, we will keep 30% of this area for forests and lakes. Also, what's very important is we will have 15 kilometres of walking and cycling trails all throughout the destination. So this not only is for the benefit of the residents who own there, but where this project is very innovative is add sustainability. It's not just physical, but it's also engaging with the community. So we want to make Lakelands also available to the general public. So whilst the residential estates within Lakelands will be private and secure, the amenities such as the walking trails and the cycling tracks will be available to the general public. So it's not like a typical gated community where it isolates itself from everybody else. So I think this is the first of its kind and will be very, very unique. We will also have some what we call a community club with sports facilities, Olympic swimming pool, various tennis courts, paddle courts and indoor multi-purpose courts for badminton, etc., yoga studios and dance studios. So this is also very important as an amenity. And of course off that there'll also be a town centre with shopping and retail and potentially a school. And then the northern part of the site, we will have adventure courses, camping, etc. And very importantly also, because Lakelands is not on the beach, and many, particularly many foreign buyers want to have access to the beach, we will have a dedicated exclusive residence beach club for the owners of the Lakelands properties between Angsana and Dusit. So that's just started construction now. So this is some of our portfolio that we currently have for sale in Laguna, Phuket. So most developers launch a project and they just sell down one project, but because we're on such a huge site, we have multiple projects that we're launching and selling at any one time. So these are some of the projects that we currently have for sale. So in what I would call the more affordable condominium segment, we have the likes of Sky Park, Lakeside, and Seaside, which is near the beach, and then Lakelands, which we've just launched at the beginning of this year. That 100 million bahts worth of sales already in a very short period of time in the last couple of months. So we're just launching the final phases of the first Lakelands projects this month actually. And then we get into the upscale segment, so Angsana. So Angsana, we have Angsana Ocean View, which is at the entrance of Angsana. So we've already completed the first building. The other two buildings are under construction. This is our most recently launched project, which is another one of our new brands, Garria. So this is right on the beach. So this will be a hotel, and it'll have hotel residences available for sale in this project. And then what you'll see is a number of banyan tree products we have for sale. So Seaview Residences, which are luxury condominiums, 3-bedroom condominiums, all with their own private pools. Beach Terraces, so these are 3-story landed properties overlooking the beach. Lagoon Pool Villas, so these will be 3, 4 and 5-bedroom properties adjacent to the Banyan Tree Resort. Some of those will be hotel managed and some of them are just as private residences. And then the others such as Oceanfront Villas and beach residences. So we've got a lot of banyan tree product available for sale. And what we're seeing in particular for the beach or the prime beachfront properties is we're really seeing a strong demand from the Thai market. So the very wealthy Thais are buying these type of properties. And I guess the other types of properties they're buying are the more affordable condominiums. But in that space, the prime beachfront properties, there isn't a lot of competition. So we're doing very well in this luxury segment at the moment. In terms of price points, maybe if we just look at the right-hand chart, and this is how much space do you get if you had $1 million US and you were to buy a property in various locations around the world, a prime real estate. Obviously in the big urban centres and the very exclusive places like Monaco, Hong Kong, New York, Singapore, you don't get much space, maybe only 50 square metres or less. Dubai, you get about 100 square metres, but for $1 million US or say 35 million baht, you get more value here in Phuket. You'll get somewhere, 150 to 200 square metres in a condominium. So Phuket on a sort of a global basis is still relatively affordable, and you get more value for your money compared to some of these other more prominent destinations. And we've sort of put that here on a chart where we're trying to show the price per square metre. So our pricing here in Laguna Phuket starts from about 200,000 a square metre on average and goes up to about 450,000 for the banyan tree type product. So if you think in Bangkok, price points, it's actually quite comparable with Bangkok now, Phuket. So the prices have really come up. Obviously there's a premium for being in Laguna Phuket for the branding as well as the location. So our price points are higher than what you would pay outside because of the location and the brand premium. And that's always the case with a branded property anyway. So I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you've got some useful information from this. So I'd like to conclude and say thank you for your attention, and we look forward to having some further discussion later on, and then we'll adjourn for lunch. Okay, Khop Mo Cup.
คุณ KP ซึ่งเป็นโอนเนอร์แล้วก็เป็น